Welcome back. I'm Melanie Elaine. This is In Between, a place I've shaped for rest. This is a place where we honor the liminal spaces. As a long term hemodialysis renal failure patient, I bring to you this week's episode Loss and Recovery. As you can tell, we are going to be talking about loss, quiet kinds, hidden kinds, the ones we carry in our bodies, in our spirits, and the unexpected recoveries that rise from them. So, if you have ever grieved a childhood you didn't get, a dream of yours that shifted, a home that wasn't a home, a body that changed, or a version of yourself you can't return to, this episode is for you. The losses we don't name. You speak into truth that not all losses come with caskets. Some losses are invisible, unspoken, and yet they carve the deepest wounds. There are losses we walk through that nobody warns us about. Losses don't get rituals. Losses don't get casseroles or condolences. The losses that shape us just as much as illness and just as much as death. Till the day comes that you can finally just name them. The childhood that you needed but never had. The safety, the softness, the protection that never came. The dream life that never came. You planned it, but betrayal, illness, or circumstance rewrote it without permission. The trust you placed in someone you loved, and the shattering that followed when they couldn't hold it, when they couldn't hold your heart, they couldn't hold your medicine, they couldn't hold your being. The home that once felt like home, until you realize it was truly never yours, or in itself it stopped being safe. Let's not forget the estrangement from family, community, the ache of being spiritually or emotionally orphaned while still breathing, or the version of yourself before the trauma. The innocence, the openness, the unguarded heart that you hope to return to, your health, your physical body, the body you used to inhabit without thinking, the body that once obeyed you. Or let's talk about the relationship you hoped for, the love that didn't become what you prayed for, or that you prayed it'd be. This is the feeling, the weight of those losses. Now, I'm not saying these things for you to drown in them, but to bear witness to them. These are real deaths, and they deserve real grief. The pivot. Here's the mystery. Every one of those losses becomes a doorway, a place where the spirit meets you. Chronic illness slows the body down enough for the soul to hear. Betrayal sharpens discernment. Estrangement pushes you towards chosen family. Lost dreams, those make the room for divine assignment. The death of old identities births spiritual gifts, and the collapse of old homes leads you to sacred belongings. Recovery isn't about getting back what was lost. It's about discovering what was waiting for you on the other side of the loss. Recovery as reclamation. This is where you bring it in full circle. Recovery is not a return. Recovery is a state of reclamation, a remembering, a rooting. Spiritual awakening often begins in this rubble, right? You recover your voice, you recover your intuition, you recover your authority, and you recover the person you were meant to be. And let's bring it back to the hive for an example. When a bee is wounded, the hive adjusts. Just as I mentioned or spoke of in last week's episode, the whole body compensates, meaning your recovery is not just yours. It strengthens the whole, the system that you are currently a part of. Loss will strip you. Loss will empty you. And loss will take the childhood you needed, the home you trusted, and the body you once lived in without fear. But recovery will remake you. Recovery will return you to yourself. Recovery will show you the gifts buried under the grief. Recovery will reveal the spiritual sight that only comes after the breaking. And in the hive of God's design, every loss is felt, every recovery is shared, and every person God sends into your life is a gift meant to sustain the whole. May we honor the losses we never named, and may we rise into recovery. As contradicting as it sounds, to speak as recovery, as someone who faces terminal chronic illness, I'm not here speaking false hope or to spiritually bypass. I want you to remember this. Recovery doesn't always mean cure, but it can still be real. It can still be yours. When the body cannot return to what it once was, recovery becomes something deeper, quieter, sacred, not a reversal. When we speak of recovery in this space, we need to imagine just going back, right? Going back to the time to when you had the health. We want to imagine going back to the full strength and back to the life that we had before. But what happens when the body can't go back? What happens when the illness is chronic, progressive, or terminal? I try my best to make the space not just for people who are sick, but the people who have been around those who are sick to see from our perspective. And if you're still here, I thank you. So what does this look like? Seeing the self that illness could not take. Here are some examples of forms. Recovery of meaning, finding purpose as you navigate the in-between spaces in the wisdom that illness sharpens. Recovery of voice, speaking truth with the newfound power that you did not have before the breaking. Recovery of boundaries, letting go of people, roles, and expectations that drained you. Recovery of self, discovering who you are beyond the productivity, beyond performance, and beyond the body's limitations. Recovery of placement, finding the community, the hive, the ecosystem where you truly belong. Recovery of presence, learning to live so deeply in the moment because the future is no longer guaranteed. Recovery of self-compassion, honoring your body not for what it can do, right, but for what it survived. Terminal illness may take the body, but it cannot take the soul's capacity to rise. It cannot take the wisdom that you so rightfully earned, and it cannot take the love that you have given, that you continue to give, and that you choose to accept. It cannot take the truth that you speak. And sometimes the deepest recovery happens in the very places where the body cannot follow.